We are live. Welcome everybody to the first episode of Minutes with Ming lockdown sessions. Here with me, joining us is Christopher Lloyd-Bertrand. Nice to meet you, Chris. It's been a long time. How have
Yeah,
you
it's been a
been?
while. I've been good. Been busy lately, but no, I've been good.
All right, all right. If you will, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. How did we met, and your stories?
Okay. So we met back in university in like 2011, I think it was. We both did our degrees in environment and resource studies.
Mhm.
Um, from there, I worked for the Upper Thames in London, Ontario. Then I kind of left the outdoor industry for a little bit. I was working in the brewing world. And then as of 2019, I kind of made the career change again and got into backcountry guiding and worked a couple jobs. And now, as of May 2020, I've been up in South River at a place called Wendigo Lake Expeditions
Mhm.
uh, as an outdoor adventure specialist and residential care worker.
Okay, okay, okay. That sounds very interesting. My main question about this is, well, what does outdoor education mean to you, and how does that spark your passion?
So for me, I mean, it ties in a lot with the job, and my passion's always been just the outdoors, spending as much time out there as I can, and backcountry camping. I started that a couple years ago, well, over a decade ago now, I guess. And so the outdoor education part is me sharing that passion with youth. So through these guiding jobs, I've been working with youth, generally youth at risk. And yeah, it just allows me to take them out into the wilderness. We get fully immersed in it, spending anywhere between 5 and 14 days in the middle of Algonquin or the French River area. And yeah, it's just spending time out there and learning about nature. I find a lot of kids uh, don't connect much with nature, and just being out there is the best way to actually connect with it by being fully immersed. Uh, they really get involved, and it sparks something for them.
Uh, Outdoor stuff really got me back to the old days when we started doing outdoor stuff. Remember our first ERS trip together, like at Aurora Gorge? I'm
Oh
not sure if you
yeah,
were there. I'm not sure, but remember I brought like a air mattress, and everyone was like, "Oh, you must be from Toronto."
yeah, I do remember that actually. I can't remember. There was like what, a couple of us, like Colin and everything. We all were
Oh
camping,
yeah.
had a good time, swam in the river a bit. Yeah, I miss
Hmm.
Aurora.
Yeah, that was some great times, like the cliff top jumping and stuff. Those
Yeah,
were some great times. And like now you get to now you're closer. Congratulations on your new house, by the way.
thank
Uh
you.
and tell me how would your proximity to Algonquin open things up for you?
So where I live now is right near the northwest corner of Algonquin, um, in a small town called Powassan. Uh, as the crow flies, I don't know, maybe about like 20, 30 kilometers from there, from the park boundary, but kind of between the town and there is just a lot of crown land.
Mm.
So it's awesome to, get to explore that area. And where I work is outside of South River, kind of between South River and Algonquin, in the middle of Crown Land, middle of nowhere. Um, but yeah, it's been awesome. Just like we can go for day trips to Algonquin, no problem now.
Right. I because now you live in north part of Algonquin. Now I think you can like go for like not the your regular route towards Huntsville, but like from like the Brent campground, Costa campground, like th those northern parts of Algonquin.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We like the closest access for us is Kawewe or Round Lake, as a lot of people call it. But yeah,
Mm.
we're also right near Kiosk, and Brent isn't too far away either. So it's kind of nice being in a little bit less busy of an area for Algonquin, because yeah, that Highway 60 corridor gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, sometimes when I go camping there, especially at Mule Lake, I can hear during the nighttime a lot of the highway sounds. And that during the nighttime, the highway sounds like echo throughout the entire park too. So I
Yeah,
guess, yeah, it's kind of disrupt the process, but I guess if you go like deep backcountry, it's not an issue.
yeah. I found, was it 2 years ago in 2019? I was working for or volunteering with an organization called Camp Outlook.
Okay.
We were always accessing at like Opiongo or Canoe Lake, so right on the Highway 60 corridor. And it's those access lakes are always so busy.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
but once you get in, two, three lakes, then it just dies right off. So that wasn't too
Hmm.
bad.
Okay. I've been on a backpacking like canoe trip before. It was pretty intense in Algonquin. It was like 4 days. It
Nice.
was me, Marcus, Madalena, and Ashley Stubbs. And it was like a really new experience for me. Never like camp outdoors like that. Like I done a lot of car camping for sure,
Yeah.
but it was never like make your own fire. I had to buy a lot of new gear that I never heard of, and instead of buying like a real sleeping mattress, like those thermarests and stuff,
Yeah.
I got a yoga mat, and I was like, oh my god, the first night was just really uncomfortable and stuff.
Yeah. There's
But
not much support.
yeah, and then I remembered I farted myself awake in the middle of the night.
Nice.
And I
Scare
was like,
yourself.
I was like, what's going on? Yeah, but like overall, it was a great trip. Got I don't know if I got lost or not, but it's definitely sometimes the rivers gets really interesting and stuff.
Yeah.
Like long and windy and stuff, and you can get lost and stuff. But like, how does you as an outdoor adventurer uh know how to like experience enough to um like circular around these lands and not get lost?
It's just kind of come with experience. The first few trips I did years ago, yeah, you're always nervous about that. But as time's gone on, you kind of get more comfortable with it. I found, having a good map is obviously key. Uh, Knowing how to use a compass helps, but for the most part, just having the map out while you're traveling, especially it's a lot easier while you're canoeing, right? You can just lay it out in front of you, and as long as you're kind of referencing it often enough, it's not too bad, right? You can kind of track as you go through a lake, like, okay, that point's this one on the map, and then there's this narrow up ahead, and by
Mm,
doing that, it makes it pretty easy to actually figure out where you are.
okay, interesting. Normally, how long are your trips? Like from like a regular trip in the woods, like kind of an expedition, I would say.
It depends. So with the job I have now, in the winter and during hiking season, we do 5 day trips will be our shortest ones. And then come canoe season, they get longer. So the longest we do is 10 days. Um, yeah, it's all over the place. Personal trips, uh, like with Abby, we'll go for shorter ones, like 3, 4 days. But
Mm-hmm.
I find if you can get out there for at least 5 days, that's where you really start to get in a flow, and things become comfortable, and you kind of not become one with nature, but you start to really kind of feel what's going on around you, and it's a lot more routine.
Okay. Just having you talking about it brings me back like such memories about like backpacking and stuff,
Nice.
and like portaging and stuff. I just find it that like as people from the city having this kind of connection with nature, not just through car camping, but through like, portaging trips, backpacking trips helps a lot to like reconnect people with nature and just like a mental unwind.
Yeah.
And how do you see people like when you go on guided trips with them and see how that affect their mental health over time?
I mean, it varies, but like person to person. I've definitely seen some people who being disconnected from their phone is a
Okay.
huge stressor for them, at least for the first few days. But for a lot of people, I find it it helps slow life down, right? You don't have all these outside stressors and worrying about bills and whatnot. It really simplifies life. So you're more concerned about getting from point A to point B. Do I have water? Do I have food? Do I have shelter? And then kind of once you check off all your needs in life, then that's really all you need, right? It really simplifies it and yeah, kind of calms people down.
I find that the pro more longer that you're in nature and stuff, the more relaxed I become and stuff. Once like all the distractions of like cell phone life has gone out of me, like obviously I have to take calls in terms of an emergency, but if it's for doing everyday stuff, being away from cell phones, it's a good thing that I find and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are so connected that they really miss what's going on in the world around them and they kind of live in this virtual world. So by being out in the woods, it's a good way to kind of get back to reality.
Mm, well, like now you guys living close to a Algonquin, everything's a lot easier. But before you used to live in, let's say, Niagara region.
We were in London actually beforehand.
Okay, like South Ontario region.
Yeah.
Okay, then how did you? What makes you choose Powassan out of like North Bay or?
So we chose it for the small town kind of feel. It's only a couple hundred people really are in the town itself. So we were looking to, you know, downsize to a smaller area. Um, and then, yeah, it's kind of a nice middle ground between where I work in South River, but then still being close enough to North Bay that it's not, too big of a trek when we need to go into the city for things.
Okay, okay. I know one person that I went to school with that actually from Powassan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's also a ginger, like you.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, and like he's a really good guy, and he's a local. Like if you know, his name is Patrick. Um,
Okay.
but I forgot his last name. But he and I went to school. I talked about Powassan and North Bay and stuff,
Okay.
and
Well, I mean,
us
I'm still
small
new to
town.
town, but if I bump into a Patrick, I'll have to ask if they know Ming.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's a very interesting guy, but I know that Poisson is really close to Restore Provincial Park.
Yeah, yeah, it's I don't know, half hour away or so, 45 minutes, but like everything compared to city life, it's a little bit more of a drive, but at the same time, there's never any traffic, so it's always going to be half hour. It's not like it's half hour or an hour if there's bad traffic. It's kind of nice the consistency.
Oh, traffic. Don't get me started on traffic in Barrie.
Yeah.
It's not as good as bad as Toronto, but it's still bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's close enough.
Oh yeah, like I've seen people commuting back and forth, and also Barrie is like the last outpost towards cottage country, like the
Yeah.
last like the last one of the major cities before like Muskoka and stuff, right? So like, and then Algonquin Provincial Park, and it's
Yeah.
like I see a lot of tourists in the summertime.
Yeah, I was this past summer before we moved up here. So like when we were still living in London and I was working up in South River area, I was making the drive, I don't know, a couple times a month And yeah, it was crazy in the summer, especially on Friday with like all that cottage traffic. It
Oh my
would,
gosh.
yeah, I can't imagine people who do that all the time.
Well, it's what they have to do, but especially during like Canada Day. Oh my God, Canada Day, Civics Day, May 2 4.
Yeah, those long
Labor
weekends are
Day.
insane.
Insane. Like I've seen like all the way back to like spring water, like the traffic like
Yeah.
coming back to like Toronto or something, spring water all the way back from Barrie, and it just like clumped down. And if you don't leave early, you're now gonna be back home till like 6 or 7 at nighttime.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I remember when I was still living down south, and I'd do a personal trip up, Algonquin area or Queen Elizabeth Wildlands or something, and it would always be such a like slap in the face as you got to Barrie where the Highway 11 and 400 merge, and then you get into
Mm,
Toronto, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're back in the city hitting traffic again.
metropolitan.
Yeah.
So like, where do you think, out of everything that you have seen, where do you think your passion would take you in the future? Like, what is your end goal that drives your passion?
I mean, I just want to keep really, I just want to spend as much time as I can out in the woods.
Mm,
So just to keep building my backcountry skills. Right now, I'm trying to learn some whitewater paddling skills. I'm still more of a flat water paddler,
mm.
but I'd like to get some whitewater skills to do personal trips and maybe do some for work. And then I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where I end up in life. I think kind of the long-term dream would be to potentially, work for myself, be my own, have my own company or something, and do a little bit of outfitting and a little bit of guiding.
Okay, okay. That's very, very like business-esque of you, and like try to be the next Les Stroud I see.
Maybe not quite that big.
I
Something
know,
small
but
scale.
yeah, but I like I've been watching Les Stroud for a long time, like, and he's really good. Like, he's literally like not compared to Survivor Man. Oh, no, sorry, not Survivor Man. The other
Bear
one.
Grylls.
Yeah, Bear Grylls like, oh, you
Oh,
stay at Motel 8 at nighttime.
yeah,
But like I've seen him like try to survive in the wild and stuff with just camera gear, and you literally and like obviously first aid is like a couple of kilometers away, but it was primarily alone in the setting and
yeah,
stuff. And then like I really got inspired from that, like the old, like the bush whacking ways, the olden days. And like
yeah.
mhm.
I remember when I was younger. Yeah, I've heard him speak, and watching his show was some inspiration. And he's still somebody I kind of look up to, along with a couple others.
Yeah, Bear Grylls, I mean, he's good at making a show like dramatic, and like obviously he knows his stuff, but
Yeah,
I don't think he's like he has his own like, but he's obviously appeasing to a different audience than Les Stroud, kind of,
Y- yeah. I think especially as you get some knowledge and you kind of know what you're doing a bit, you start to see some of the holes in Bear Grylls. At least
Mm.
that's my opinion. Yeah, there's I don't know. I think there's a lot of other influences that are better, like obviously Les Stroud or Hap Wilson, Jim Baird. There's a couple other guys out there who I would
Mhm.
kind of put ahead of Bear Grylls.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, like I know, but like Lester's Canadian, and got that Algonquin backcountry like foundation, that kind of.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's up in the Huntsville area too, right? So going
Mm.
with the local guy.
Oh yeah, I always like. I feel like day trippers miss like 80% of Algonquin just by going like day campers. I mean, like car camping people miss like 80% of the entire park.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy how like especially last year, right? Like camping seemed to get a big boost from COVID, people not being able to leave. But when you were booking sites, you really noticed that a lot of people only stayed kind of within like one or two lakes of the access. And so a lot of people don't see the interior of the park anymore. I've heard some stats of how I'll probably butcher them, but it's like, back in the 50s, the average trip, like canoeing trip, was a month long. And then in the 80s, it was like over a week. And then nowadays, it's like 3 days. And so in that time, like you really just can't get out there and truly experience it. You're still only on the fringes of it.
Yeah. Like it took like I felt like when I was doing my backpacking trip, it took maybe 3 days for me to like get in like literally in the middle of nowhere and see what's really going on and stuff. Like there's
Yeah.
like a lot more fish. Like I've seen people fishing and stuff. Like compared to like let's say Mew Lake. Like obviously there is fish, but like during the inner Algonquin parts, there is more fish, like more wildlife per se, and obviously more bears and stuff.
You know what? I find, at least for Algonquin, I find most of the bears are actually around the accesses. Like the bears know
Oh,
to go where the people are.
cool.
But yeah, in terms of fish, yeah, there's like so much less pressure on the interior lakes. So
Mm,
um, yeah, you see a lot more wildlife when you're actually in the middle of the park.
mm. Oh, so those good times. I try to go back to Algonquin at least once a year, whether
Nice.
it's car camping or backpacking and stuff. It's always a treat. Like I always like the Lake of Two River, the the stop, like
Yeah.
the restaurant stop in between, and it's always like good food, good people there, and like I really like the gift shops and stuff. I used to buy
Nice.
like rep like Algonquin hoodies. I'm like, but then not even until I see like, oh my goodness, like $90 a hoodie. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, a little crazy. But I mean, hey, at least you're getting out there and like, not to poo-poo on it too much, but even car camping, at least
Mm,
people getting out car camping, it's better than nothing, right?
yeah, but like one of my favorite trails is the Centennial Trail. It's so hard, like not hard, but like it's difficult. But when you get up there, the view is like breathtaking, like just
Oh yeah?
breathtaking. Yeah, like
I
have
don't
you
know if I've
seen
done that one.
the 10K Centennial like Ridge, I think. Centennial
Okay.
Ridge. It's along the Highway 60 corridor. And
Okay,
it's
I'll
a
have to
like
try that this year.
yeah. And it was like a lot of hills up and down and stuff. Like it was some good times and stuff. But like, yeah. Like maybe if I have time, we'll go and then just
Yeah.
do like backpack, like a simple backpacking or a car camping trip. Bring your wife. I'll bring my girlfriend. And like have some good old times.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm in.
hmm Well, um, yeah. Like I hope you're doing well these days.
Thanks.
hmm
Yeah, I hope you're doing great too. Hopefully this kicks off the podcast again for you.
Yeah, like I just hope that a lot of people might enjoy and stuff, but that's all the time we have. I hope you enjoyed our talk.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Please, this is the end of the podcast. Please like and subscribe, and I'll link Chris's Instagram and Facebook below, links and stuff. Follow him there, and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.